Hey, welcome back. Welcome back, me. Holy crap. How's it going, everybody? Josh, what's going on, man? Haven't talked to you in a little bit. Actually, no, we did talk about all that Binance stuff. I gotta figure all that out. I haven't at all understood the full legislation. I understand that Binance has now stepped out of Ontario, which is pretty bad. Pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie, it's making me reconsider, how long I'm actually going to be in Ontario long term, especially if this is something that I'm focusing on. Cryptocurrency is a big part of my life. Am I just going to stay here while the government makes me eat shit? That's a different kind of question. But I think at this point I have to find alternatives. I know there are some good exchanges, but it kind of scares me. Not gonna lie, especially when I use the BSC so much. Like I'm gonna have to use a bridge. So there's a lot to that bill C-36, which is it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out. I don't like to see it because I'm a big critic of how New York did everything with their laws and everything else, and their legislation really messes up their state. So how's it going, Thomas? Yep, but honestly, I couldn't believe Ontario took a stance like that. It was kind of surprising. Did you guys hear about this pipeline? Did you guys hear about this? The fire burning in the ocean. Look at this. Look at this. The petrodollar is literally burning the ocean. Yeah, if I can't use but I'm pretty sure after that they're not servicing anybody, right? So right now we can't do leverage or anything else, but after that they're kicking off all the Ontario people, I believe. Now I might do something where I just use a VPN, say I'm in like Quebec or Saskatchewan or something, but it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I hope it gets dropped too, man, because like realistically, I just came from a vacation out in Alberta. You guys know if you followed the channel and everything. But like, man, 5% tax out there, pretty goddamn good, right? And like coming back here, all the crypto laws being tamed. I don't like it. That's just to justify the gas shortage. Man, gas is insane. So here's the thing. Let's take the first little bit of this stream, not to talk about crypto. Even though this is crypto important, I want to talk about like the global financial system, what's happening right now. When I was driving through Canada, holy crap, the gas. Now, in some places it was fine, in some places it wasn't. There was not one place that was under $1.26 or $1.27. Not one. Maybe I saw one place at $1.23. That's possible. But like when I got up to like Northern Ontario, we're talking $1.50, $1.51, $1.52. It was nuts. It was crazy prices. Now more than ever, the more businesses are not breaking a profit now more than ever, which is a big deal. If you're not breaking a profit right now, and you look at the stock market, just to put that in an example. Nobody's breaking a profit, but if you look at the stock market, the S&P, where is it? Like if you look at the S&P 500, right? Like look at this. But more companies than ever are not breaking a profit. More companies than ever are not breaking a profit. But this is the S&P 500. Does this make any sense in any like world? I don't think so. I feel like I've been dropped into a matrix right now. Everyone's saying everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine. Meanwhile, everything's burning. It's crazy. But on Binance, I think it's a terrible thing for Ontario. I think Bill C-36 is what's sparking that. I think it's a terrible thing for this province. If it doesn't get dropped, I'm at that point I am looking at moving. I can't stay here. Like crypto is part of my life. Like it's a one big factor in my life, and I'm not just going to stay here and eat it from the government. I don't blame Binance necessarily. They probably had some legal discussions about it. Like to exclude a whole province out of your user base is a pretty big deal. That's profit on their end, right? So, it's I don't know if I blame Binance more than the Ontario government. But I do think you can VPN. But I think it might have some issues with KYC. So you might need some like out of Ontario licenses or something. I don't know. I'm thinking Alberta. Alberta's probably the option at this point. Low taxes, and it's not Ontario. And you got to look at Ontario too. We have the highest hydro costs. We have highest everything. So, but back to this. This is interesting because we talk about this like we have the oil pipeline burning, but the narrative is changing, right? So Elon Musk. Will Elon Musk resume Tesla payments? This is just Benjamin Cohen making a tweet out to Michael Saylor. But it's interesting now that Michael Saylor says that we've increased to 56% of the mineable Bitcoin is being mined with renewable energy. So we are getting a shift in narrative in terms of Bitcoin's becoming a little bit more green quicker than I thought that this would happen personally. But it seems like the narrative is switching at least. And then Elon Musk had some stuff to say about the actual pipeline bursting. So this pipeline, we'll take a look at this video, but this pipeline is essentially just bursting and like it's on fire in the ocean in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, this is not the first time that something like this has happened, right? Like if you remember back in the early 2000s, I want to say, I don't know, I was a kid. We had the Gulf of Mexico incident, and that was an interesting thing. I was looking at Alberta housing and Calgary. I can't believe how affordable Calgary is compared to like London. It's insane. It's insane. Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work, man. Are we forced to pull our ETH 2.0 locked from Binance? I don't we can't pull it. Right, so I don't know. Binance is gonna have to do something. They can't just take it from us, right? Maybe they organize it where they delay it and they release it to you as soon as ETH 2.0 is out. I can see that happening, but I don't think that you'll have to you'll probably still have a Binance account. You probably just won't be able to do anything in it. You know what I mean? So it's definitely unfortunate, right? Like it's a big pain, especially like for someone like me. I use Binance a lot. Yeah, December 1st, 2021, all of Ontario people should pull out. Well, pull out what you can, right? Locked ETH is, to what I understand, ETH 2.0, you can't move it. Once it's in the node, it's in the node. And that's it. Like, I have my ETH on Kraken, so I guess I'm lucky there. But I don't know if, like, Kraken's next up, right? I mean, if other exchanges fall suit, then my move becomes dramatically quicker, right? So here's the thing. If Binance, okay, I can kind of live without Binance, all right? Binance is my number one exchange for the most part. Like, I use Binance for basically everything. But I also use KuCoin and everything else, right? Like, I have a slew of other exchanges. But if we start seeing Kraken, KuCoin, and all these other exchanges dropping me, yeah, at that point, I'm absolutely going to Alberta. Because there's no way I'm staying here. Yeah, I'm just outside of the GTA, Richard, but it is turning into the GTA with prices. Like my average home cost here is somewhere around like $675,000. It's unreal. I can't believe it. I hope other exchanges don't pull us out, but we'll see what happens. Binance gives you a BETH. Oh, yeah, I guess they do, right? So, yeah, I would just do that. I know Kraken does that for like U.S. customers, but they don't do it for Canadians for whatever reason. So I'm stuck with Kraken essentially, but I like Kraken. There's nothing wrong with Kraken. Yeah, if you have the ability to pull it out, I'd probably screw off and pull it out. Maybe go to Kraken myself, but I don't know if like it's just gonna be Kraken, right, or Binance. Like I have no idea if like other exchanges are going to come down the pipe. It's similar to like what New York had to deal with a bunch of things there. But yeah, there are better options. And if the I've said this numerous times, and you guys have heard me in tons of videos talking about this. With the United States specifically, I was talking about their legislation, and if they want to push out cryptocurrency and push away the good legislation and just make it harder to make crypto, they're shooting themselves in the foot. That's exactly the same here in this situation. So really, Ontario is massively shooting themselves in the foot. And hey, I'm happy to leave this province with a 14% interest rate. There's no way that I can stomach that long term. Well, you just feed me crap, right? I'm not gonna take it. It's just not right. So I will happily go to like somewhere like Alberta, 5% tax. I don't have to worry about getting knocked off in exchange. I don't know why Ontario is doing this, but like, hey, I've had a lot of critiques over the provincial government for the last little while. It's been a slow burn for the last couple of weeks to months. Obviously COVID had a lot to do with it, right? Like that's a big deal. Yeah, it's been a mismanaged province for a little while. So let's hope that some things can change, but not looking hopeful for this province. I brought this up, just an interesting article to talk about. Jay-Z sells an NFT for $139,000. It's just NFTs, right? I think NFTs are going to be the future in the space. If you look at like what NFTs do for things like royalties and everything else, like you look at like the old patent trolls and everything else, and all the royalties for music, and how that gets paid back to these wealthy producers or whatever. Really, NFTs disrupt it all, and it puts the power back into the artist's hand, which is why I think NFTs are going to be great. People talk about an NFT bubble. I don't think NFTs would go into a bubble, because NFT is a type of technology, whereas the things that NFTs will hold could go into a bubble. So you could see an art bubble, you could see a digital music bubble, whatever it is, all on NFTs. But you won't see all NFTs pumping and then crashing kind of thing. It's just the type of technology. Think of it as like tokenizing a work of art. It could be digital or physical. Eventually, we'll be tokenizing the world, and everyone needs to understand that. We'll be tokenizing real estate properties and everything else. December 31st. Yeah, either way, it's not good. It's not good. That seems like right around the corner for me, right? Like here we are only in July. That's only a few months. It's not a lot of time for people to prepare, really, when they're dealing with a lot of money. So it's very frustrating to find out, okay, like what's going to happen, and the uncertainty too. It's not just Binance, because I actually don't hold a lot on Binance. I have a lot like everywhere else, but maybe like a couple $100 at any given time on Binance. I use Binance to buy, right? Like I buy all my tokens from Binance and move it all there. It's like my central hub. So I use it a lot, right? Like it's not like I'm not using Binance at all. So even though I don't have money in there, it's frustrating. Current total market cap is sitting at $1.4 trillion, not far off from when I left. So obviously, cryptocurrency has kind of been trading level. We did have that scary dip when I left, just a couple of days after I took off on my road trip. It was actually happening during the road trip, like while I was on the road, and I couldn't really do anything about it. It was like the most inopportune time, but everything's trading level again. We see Ethereum pumping back up, getting up to the 2200 mark, which is good to see for Ethereum. Cardano dropped. Now Cardano dropped to, where is my chart here? There it is. I didn't see it because it was on the S&P 500. How often do we look at that? So Cardano dropped below our line of support. So we talked about that, the $1.50, right? That it held out pretty good. But I said that it could. Like I said that the likelihood of it going down there is good. But at the same time, it's recovering very, very well. Like it wasn't down there for long, and still $1.42 Cardano. Like it was only a little while ago that people were complaining about $1.12 to Cardano. So obviously that's really good. Hey Gary, how's it going? Welcome. Thank you. I appreciate it. No coffee today because I'm going for a bike and I wanted to get hydrated. So we're just sitting here talking about Ontario legislation and how it screwed us. I'm sure you're feeling that too. So I guess it is what it is. But there are other places to live in this world, and not just Ontario, and not just Canada too. So nothing is off the table. That's for sure. Now I don't want to move out of country, but moving out of Ontario might be the best option. You should already be having ADA on a Daedalus wallet and staking it through Daedalus. Definitely, you should not be on Binance. But my goal is to maybe maybe deal with Binance for like a couple of months. But ultimately, like, I am leaving province. Like, that's got to happen. I can't leave, or I can't stay long term and not have access to one of the biggest crypto exchanges in the world. That can't happen, especially yeah, NFTs are. Yeah, NFTs are going to be a big deal, right? It's going to be a lot. It's not just what people are thinking, right? So people think NFTs are just for art. NFTs do a lot for the world. It's going to change a lot of things. Daedalus. Hold on, let me spell that out for you. That's actually the Cardano wallet. You can also use the Euro wallet. I don't use it, but you can use that. If you are going there, when you get to the stake pool, you can always Google to how, YouTube, how to do a stake pool. But Benjamin Cohen, I'm sure you know him. If you don't, then don't worry about this part. But Benjamin Cohen has a stake pool, and I stake with him. So if you just go into the stake pools and search ITC into the cryptoverse, I promote his just because I use it. People always ask which stake pool do you go through. I like Ben. I stake with him. So yeah, he charges a low fee, gives good interest. It is what it is. If you want to find another stake pool that aligns with your interest, then great. But also, when Sunday Swap comes out, you'll be using Daedalus to stake for your Sunday token as well. Yeah, honestly, man, Gary, especially, and like any other people like here that has a lot on exchanges, I'd get it off, right? Like, this Binance thing is just telling for us Ontario people, but like, this is a good general rule in general. Unless you're like in one of those stake pools, right, that you're getting some percentage yield, I would just get it off entirely. I'd put it into other avenues where you can earn a yield on that without keeping it on there. 60% of my crypto is ADA. Yeah, I mean, like, ADA is a great token to hold, so having 60% is amazing. What's going on, Giovanni? Nice to see you again, buddy. How's it going? How's things? But yeah, it's safer just to keep everything spread out. So if you think about it, like, I don't have all my crypto on a ledger. I don't have all my crypto in Celsius. I have a lot in Celsius. Celsius is by far one of the best companies that I've been using. I really enjoy it. I will have to buy Sunday token. Yeah, I mean, like, and that might be it too, right? If you don't want to, like, stake, and that's fine, right? Some people are just a little sketched out to stake too. Just buy Sunday token when it comes out. There's no problem with that too. If you look at, like, PSwap, right? When PSwap came out, take a look at that really quick. I don't know if I can get a PSwap chart, actually, but we'll see. But PSwap has dropped, like, big time. Okay, no, all I have is ETH. But with PSwap, we had the same thing, right? Everyone thought that it was gonna pump up. And now I'm still bullish. I'm not saying I'm not. I'm a patient son of a bitch, right? But it was 30 cents, and now it's 8 cents. That's not bad. I mean, like, it is what it is. This is exactly what Polkadot did. When Polkadot was released, it pumped up and then bled for a while, and just went down. So this is exactly the same with PSwap. Does that mean that I'm not bullish? Of course not. I am bullish. I'm absolutely bullish on where PSwap's going to go. Now, I was asked in another question that Polkadex, I'm going to make a video comparing PSwap and Polkadex because they're not the same thing. And I thought they were. Yeah, but I think what's happening, and I could be wrong, but I think what's happening is they're not servicing any Ontario people specifically. But I'm going to take a look at the bill and what Binance said because I read it while I was on vacation and kind of figured that. 100% ADA. Hey, ADA Maxi, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's going places. I'm totally, like, I would be comfortable with that too. I mean, I like having Bitcoin. I like other things, right? I like other altcoins. But at the same time, you know what I mean? I totally get the people that are, like, all in Cardano. I totally understand it. It makes complete sense to me. Binance is one of the... Yeah, it's one of the healthy exchanges. It's top volume, but losing it in Ontario is going to be a pretty big blow for us. So, and again, I've never. I want to be clear for a lot of people. I'm not upset at Binance for making the move that they did with Ontario. I'm not upset at them at all. This is all the Ontario government. Just as a reminder, drop a like, guys. We have 8 people watching the stream. We would love 8 likes. Yeah, either way, I guess at this point, we just gotta suck up and deal with it. But I'm more upset with the province. Can you say to Pancake somewhere else besides Binance Smart Chain? Because that's why I pulled out. I don't know. I don't know that you can, but I don't think that there's anything to stop us from using PancakeSwap, right? We would just need to use a bridge and bridge over those tokens to another chain. So if we say bought ETH on the BSC on PancakeSwap and then bridged it over to our MetaMask and then sold it on another exchange like Kraken or something, I mean that's just as good, right? So. But I think we're dealing with some weird times. I don't think that we'll have I don't know. I'm hoping that over the next little while things kind of clear up, especially with the legislations. But I think that's our big issue. Bitcoin currently sitting right now at 34,700. And obviously we've just been trading in that zone. If we switch from this 4-hour to the daily, we've just literally been trading in the zone for the past month or so. So, yeah, you can let me pull up my Pancake. So I'm assuming what you can do. Oh, I have Pancake right here. I'm assuming what you can do is find a bridge, like a BSC bridge, and I found a couple. There's actually one of the Matic bridges. I'm pretty sure that what you can do is you can send from the BSC to Matic, BSC bridge. So if you find a bridge to work with, Binance.org, that sucks. Yeah, so bscbridge.io. You'd use the bridge, bring it over to the correct chain that you want. So I assume Ethereum. Yeah, so right now they only support Ethereum and BSC. So essentially you could buy Ethereum on Pancake. So if you wanted to say cash out your Pancake, for example, you could go and you can't use Binance, right? So this is only for people that can't use Binance. So obviously everyone else is fine except for Ontario, boys. So it is what it is. But go trade, exchange, select, make sure that you get your ETH, buy your ETH, and then what you would do is you go to the bridge and then you bridge that. So we have the bridge up here. So that would be the process. There's a lot to do that. Router protocol, I did not see the pump. I will take a look though. But how's it going, Kyle? Good to be back, man. It was a long trip, but I'm glad that I'm finally returned, man. There's no place like home, honestly. But it turns out home isn't all that great. What's the ticker for Redder? Oh, there were defined farms. Right. Cool. Oh, no. It just goes into here. So I got to re-stake my define. I got to re-go in and figure out what I'm doing here. I'm going to make a video about it because I got to decide where the money's going. Oh, that's route. I see route. Um, that might be a good idea too. Yeah, because that's still like 197% if you do root and ETH, right? And I think it is pronounced root, and that's a 21 day. But yeah, you like that? She missed me, man. So she's been staying at my parents for a little while. So it's funny because I started making videos the other day, and the second I started talking, she like comes up to me and starts rubbing up on me because yeah. So I need to because the define the Matic define pair is done. I need to put into a new farm. I was looking at Root. I was looking at Luna and Defin. Those are the two that I was looking at. I might split it up half and half, but I'm looking at this one. It ends in 4 days. So maybe just going Root. And I've heard really good things about Root. So like Root and ETH going and gaining 197% on that might be a good option. But yeah, Roots has a good team, a good setup. Like I think it's going to go places. So I'm excited where this is going to go. But you know, I don't know as much. Like there's just so many little tokens. But let me check the actual price, see what the pump is. Root define, yeah. Is that the? Here we go. Farms. You're talking about the dual farms here, right? Yeah. Okay. Root define. Yeah, because that's a pretty good idea too. Because that's still 224%, right? So it's around the same percentage, a little bit higher. How many days do we have left on it? Oh yeah, 21 days. So about the same. So that's also a good option. Maybe I'll do like 50-50 just to keep things spread out. That sounds like a good idea. Let's take a look at the chart. Oh, wow. That was a good pump there, right? So last 24 hours made a nice little spike from the 440 to almost like 475. So pretty good pump there. That was due to some news, I'm sure. Yeah. So this is apparently the sneak peek of their mainnet, it looks like. But anything new? No, just everything on the first. Well, I guess the first is like recent, right? Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. I really like the Matic system, the Define system. Like, I think it's going to be a great ecosystem moving forward. I haven't heard many complaints about it so far, and I had no problems with my first pool. So I'm really happy with where Define is and where it's going to go. I think it's gonna do well as a DEX out there, especially when you look at Polygon Matic. Like even one of the exchanges here in Canada, Newton. No, Newton has added like a bunch of new tokens, which is great, especially with Binance, right? So now I can buy a lot more tokens that I wasn't able to buy. Although I still have Kraken. Like at the end of the day, we still have Kraken. But Newton is a pretty good on-ramp for me. So if I can buy some of those tokens without even transferring them off, it seems to be a good deal for me. Yeah, Matic was on there. A bunch of other tokens were added. Aave. So you can see now things are coming. And like arguably I should have gotten into Aave a lot earlier, but yeah, so I talked about Define, and I'm gonna go over that because I think I mentioned like between like 18 to 20 is probably like a good like estimate for where Define can go. So now DeFi is still. Oh, sorry. Is that the token or is the DEX? Hold on. Make sure that I'm at the. Yeah. Okay. So DeFi can still go way higher. Now, consider right now that DeFi is only ranked 548 of all cryptocurrencies. It only has a market cap of $27 million. We're super low in DeFi, right? So there's obviously more risk, right? But at the same time, it's a good project. A lot of people are into it. I'm into it. It's a very fast project, easy to use too. I like their DEX. It's pretty straightforward and simple. But like if you look at the tokenomics of this token, it has a low circulating supply of 250 million tokens. That's the max supply. Right now, the circulating right now is 15.5 million. So it's not a lot, right? And there's not a lot of money in the system. So of course it can go higher. It really does seem to, it really does seem like it could absolutely hit the $20 marks at some point. Yeah, so I literally I say this to everybody, right? So I lost out. If anyone remembers back in like before the bull market with Uniswap, everyone that made a MetaMask back in September of 2019 or something like that basically got 1,400 Uni tokens straight up. Just here you go. For nothing, right? I did not. And if you made multiple MetaMask accounts, you got multiple airdrops. I did not. The one thing that I learned from that is take risks. Take risks and just jump in feet first with a little bit of money that you're willing to lose. And then at that point, you're probably going to be rewarded. So that's what I found. It's worked out for me. That's why I jumped into DeFi. I knew a little bit about it. I had some people telling me about it. But at the same time, like, hey, I just needed to get in there, you know? But I've always said at this point is not the time to be super careful about some things. Like obviously don't like put your life savings on something that you're not sure of. But if you're ready to take a little bit of a risk, right, and you have like a little bit to throw at a project, why not? Right? As long as you've done your due diligence to at least know that it's not a rug pull, then you're good. But you look at like some things, like Mark Cuban getting like scammed by what is it, Titan Finance or whoever did that. I don't know. I just don't follow what Mark Cuban says and all these famous people. I mean, they're smart, sure. Michael Saylor, sure, he made a good play with Bitcoin, but Michael Saylor also like hated on Bitcoin for a while, right? So, it's not always the best idea to follow other people into something and do your due diligence, but at the same time, you should at least take a little bit of risk, especially in a space like this. When do we see Bitcoin going bullish? So I think Bitcoin needs to hit around, well, it needs to break 42 first. It needs to break 42. Then once it breaks 42, then we have the $50,000 mark to break. So once we break 42, we're looking a little bit better, but we'll probably flirt with a line of support, so we'll trade sideways. So like think about it this way, right? Our line in the sand right now is 32,000, right? We broke another line of the sand at 42,000. So that's what we broke down and then dropped down. So to see a bullish Bitcoin again, what we're going to have to do is eventually make our way back up this way, but we're going to flirt with this for a while until finally we can jet out above 50. So that's what I mentioned. Or that's what we'll have to see. Now, if we do that, right, you look at that, right, the bull market re-engages somewhere in November, December. And this is actually like pretty in line with my estimate. If we go through, our bull market engages somewhere before or just on 2022, and then we have the rest of the bull market for 2022, and nearing the end, maybe summer, that's when we start seeing a potential dip to crash. Yep. Honestly, Kraken is by far. So here's the thing about Kraken too. It's legislatively a bank in the United States, right? So it is a bank in the states. Wyoming, I think, is a state. But it's one of the top. Like, I love Kraken. I hate their interface. I don't like their interface. I love Binance's interface, but everything else, Kraken has it unlocked. Kraken has a lot of Polkadot, like a lot of my Polkadot, a lot of my KSM being staked in their pools. I'm gonna pull that out and actually stake it like myself. But yeah, I love Kraken. They haven't done me wrong yet, so I just don't like their charts. That's it. I don't like that I can't have trading view, and I have to commit to their charting platform. So I don't like it. That's the only reason I don't like it. But other than that, like I actually have money on Kraken. I actually have crypto on Kraken. I don't usually keep crypto on Binance. I'm sure if I looked on Binance, I probably have like a couple $100 of something, but like, it's not one of my main holds, right? I have my Ledger, I have Celsius, I have Nexo, I have BlockFi, I have Crypto.com. It's just like so much. And then you look at like all the other like DeFi platforms I'm on with PancakeSwap, Sushi, PolkaSwap. So I'm my stuff is everywhere. It really is. But it's also good because if you get hacked or something like screws you, then at least you have some backups. They were really fast to use Ontario photo card. Yep, and most places won't take it. Yeah, I've had problems with getting approval or like friends saying like, hey, they haven't approved me in like 3-4 days. I'm like, yeah, well, it is what it is, I guess. Ontario. So let's hope for some better legislation. So to bring it back to that, because maybe there are some people that are just jumping in here. Obviously, and actually let's pull up something to talk about this. C36. So this is the bill that caused Binance to step out of Ontario and servicing Ontario customers. Now, exactly what Binance is doing, I don't blame Binance, right? I want to be very, very clear on this. Binance is an excellent exchange. I love them. They have the highest volume out there. Maybe Bitfinex is maybe a little bit higher. I don't know. I don't think so. But Binance is like almost number one. And this bill basically made them, for whatever reason, pull out. Well, I mean, I know why, but they pulled out of the Ontario market. Now, assuming they'll be back, right? Binance is not the type of company to just like pull out and not come back in. They did this for the USA when they basically just restricted, like they have a whole nother Binance US platform where we use Binance International. So maybe they're going to come with like Binance Ontario or Binance Canada, possibly. But like at the same time, like, I don't know. Like, is it really worth staying in Ontario with, stuff like this? I'm starting to think less and less no, right? Because if we're looking at, ironclad legislation and just screwing us out of our money, what are we going to do? We're paying 14% taxes in this province for what? For what? Just to get screwed over and to be in lockdowns. I'm not sure if anyone knows what the rest of Canada is doing. It is nothing like Ontario. And like, listen, I'm pro COVID lockdowns. I'm pro health and safety and keeping everyone safe and good. But 70% of the population is vaccinated, right? You can't keep hemorrhaging small businesses. We need to find a way to open up the country and not have to suffer with COVID. We need, basically what I'm saying is we need to find a better way to deal with COVID than shutting down. Shutting down can't be our solution. We can't have shutdowns. This can never happen again. We can never have a shutdown again. And it's going to literally murder our economy. If you think that Ontario is going to stay afloat under this, like, there are so many small businesses that are just hemorrhaging right now. Yeah, Ontario is getting really, really, really bad. How's it going, Allie? Yeah, it's Ontario's fault completely. It's all legislation. It's all bullshit, and hopefully we can get out of this because this is the real killer here. This is what's making people second guess. Why am I living in Ontario with crazy crazy housing retail prices. Like, why am I here? When you look at the housing prices, when you look at the taxes, when you look at the legislation that they're trying to push out, it's not a good recipe to keep people in here, right? So, I mean, if you want people to stay in your province, and I've said this before with the United States, if you want a good, healthy system, you make it easy for that money to flow there. Restricting something will never work. This is like alcohol prohibition, Al Capone. Rise of Al Capone, rise of a huge crime organization, all because they're banning alcohol. It's not the solution. The solution isn't to ban cryptocurrencies or make it harder for people to trade, which is exactly what New York did. And if you look at what New York did, they got screwed. They got massively screwed. And then that guy who made all the New York legislation, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but that guy literally went off to sorry, I'm swearing. See, this is how upset I'm getting. He literally went off to go and work at consulting firms to help people navigate the crap legislation that he put in place. He did it. And then went working for the firms to get them on, right? To help them get the bit license. Screw off, man. It's all a money grab. That's all it is. And Ontario is the worst for it right now. I have no hope for this province at this point. So hopefully, I'm hoping that this bill can get dropped. I don't know. I'm more knowledgeable, I guess, and this is probably bad. I'm more knowledgeable about United States politics and how that works. I'm less knowledgeable about Canadian politics, even though I live here. It is what it is. U.S. politics is just more entertaining, I guess. It has been, at least for the last little while. Yeah, a lot of people are considering moving, that's for sure. Yeah, when you're looking at 5% taxes in Alberta, or going to... I don't know if I'd go to Montreal, but either way, yeah. I don't know. If they're doing this, I don't know if I see a future for cryptocurrency in Ontario, the way that I want it to be, right? And, crypto is a big part of my life, so... Well, look at Texas, right? Texas isn't, going through any, bad issues. And if you think about it, people moving to another province is probably just going to increase that province's revenue. More GDP and everything else. Lower taxes, people are going to flock to that. And a lot of people in California and the States, so, equate it similar to California and Texas in the States. A lot of people left California. You look at their tax prices and everything else. It's arguably, I'm sure Cali's a great city. I'm sure Cali's a beautiful city. But at the same time, how can you stomach a tax that high? How can you stomach losing that much money and the increases in that much? I was looking at salaries over there, and it's literally, it's the same thing. It's the same as here, but lower taxes. So it's extra money in my pocket just by not paying taxes. So I think it'll hurt Ontario, is all it'll hurt. And you know what? I'm fine with that at this point. Screw Doug Ford and screw Ontario. Pulse chain, let me take a look. Largest airdrop in history. Energy efficient, cheaper, faster, fee-burning Ethereum fork. Okay, is it like an Ethereum fork or is it just an Ethereum chain? So this could be cool. Oh, but does it just ETH the pulse chain though? Okay, I thought it'd be no, that's still good. So I think it's just a fork of Ethereum. I don't think there's anything wrong with projects like these. But I want to know what the airdrop is, because apparently it's the biggest airdrop. Are they airdropping to? Okay, so the launch of Pulse Chain is the largest airdrop in history. Thousands of Ethereum-based tokens and NFTs will receive their free Pulse Chain. So this is a new gold rush. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know. I'd have to look more into the project. So a couple of things when I'm looking at a project, big things that I look. I try to take a look at what they're doing, their roadmap and everything else, but I don't see much, right? I don't have much here. But I mean, it's an airdrop, right? So it's like, to what I understand, you just hold the regular ETH tokens, and you're just going to get Pulse for the amount that you have. I would like to see more come out of this. Like, I'd like to see the project team. I'd like to see, everything else. Like, I'm not big into Telegram myself. There's a lot of scammers. I use it just for, like, help. I would never say what my Telegram is, though, because I don't want people talking on me there, because, it's all scams. So, yeah, I would just be cautious. I would cautiously optimistic for sure. But you never know what could be a rug pull and what couldn't. But I mean, if it's just a drop, like what Hex did a similar thing where they just airdropped. If it's just a drop like that, I mean, like, sure, and then you can use the system, pulsechain.com. So, yeah, right now I would just say that there's not enough information that I have on this. I'd have to, like, maybe watch some videos about it, try to find out who the team is and what's going on there. But I get what they're saying. They're forking out to PETH. It's the same that a bunch of other places have done. No, it's not out yet, but it's definitely gonna fork. Richard Hart, yeah. So who's Richard Hart? Sounds familiar. Yeah, I'm not sure that this is the right guy. I'm gonna assume that this isn't the right guy. So, oh, maybe it is. Who knows? Oh yeah, it probably is. Yeah, it is. Oh, okay, so he's big into hacks and everything else. Okay, interesting. Who knows? I'll take a look. I'll see what he has to say. But like, I'd still like to know like what the project team is. What their roadmap is. They have goals. Their Pulse goals. But I see this more as like this is a bare bones business plan, if anything, right? So, but it could be good. I mean, like, it just depends on the fundamentals that come out, what the speeds are, what the transaction rate is, what the fees. Yeah. Perfect. I'll take a look after a little bit later today after my bike ride. Crypto market, we've talked about this. It is sitting at $1.4 trillion. Bitcoin again is sitting at around $34,000. So we haven't, and again we've just been trading level. Even this got a little scary, and I was gone for this, unfortunately. And it was I even I was like rushing to put money in while I was like on vacation. I'm like, oh, hold on, like I just got to make some transfers out of my bank here. And they're like, what's going on? Thinking I'm broke or something. But yeah, right here was that drop, and I was gone for it. That was scary. And looking at it now, it would have been real scary if I'm in it. But like at the same time, I called a lot of this, right? I've said a lot that we could go down sub like even $27,000 Bitcoin. It's possible, but we would bounce right back out, right? And still, the possibility is there that we go lower, of course. But we also have a possibility of just trading level for now, and then at the end of the summer, kind of picking things back up, right? So. He has something special on the outside. It's interesting. It would depend on like his connections, but don't know enough about him to make a determination. But I'll figure it out. Go ahead and drop a like too, guys. We have a couple of people here, and I'm sure a couple cycled in, so would love to get some equal likes. Just so everyone understands, like what's happening. I dropped or like I pulled a lot of my pancake, not pancake out. But I unstaked it because I was away from vacation, and I stupidly didn't connect my my MetaMask to my wallet to my laptop. So I went out there with my laptop thinking like, oh yeah, I can just manage my DeFi while I'm out on vacation. Of course I couldn't. I was stuck without my computer. So I had a bunch of cake. I have that in my wallet. I'm gonna go and play with that and make a video of that and show you guys some pancake fun. We got Define that I'm gonna come out and do. Most likely we'll do the video going through Define and ETH or sorry, what was it? I think it's defined in ETH. We'll go to the popular farms here. We're gonna go, yeah, define in ETH, and then it is a root in define is what we're gonna do. So most likely those two. So we'll take half and half. So that's a cell loan. If you guys watch back when we did the Celsius loan, so we took, I think, $1,700 from the cell loan. And actually, just to give you guys a perspective on that, so I use Celsius, right? Celsius Network. And I use it. I actually take loans from it, right? So I collateralize some of my cryptocurrency, and I take a loan to buy more cryptocurrency. So think of when you leverage on an exchange. So if you're using 1 to 2x leverage, for example, I'm essentially doing that, right? But the difference is I'm with a company that I completely trust. They're not going to liquidate my stuff unless I don't contact them to add more funds to it or readjust my loan, essentially pay it back or add more collateral. And so far, it's worked out pretty good with me. They have a 1% interest rate, so I don't pay that much. I basically have to, oh, that's weird. Oh, I hit sign up. That's why. Oops. So I basically have to pay 1% of the loan is my total cost of the loan, which ends up being, I think for that loan, it was like $26. Just to show you. Now, I love Celsius, and they actually just came out with a Rewards Explorer that we're going to be putting out a video on. We've been in a lot of talks with Celsius, so I'm excited for some future stuff that are going to be coming out. But let's go to borrow. Okay, so I'll bring up this loan here for you guys, and we can take a look. Let's see. Where is the loan details? Okay. So we took a $1,700 loan. Hopefully you guys can see that. Oh, yeah, my camera's inverted. 1 second here. Oh, how do you... Uno momento, por favor. Where is transform? There we go. Okay. So, we have a $1,750 loan from Celsius. Now, I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to try my hardest. But we took our cell token. You can't see that. Well, okay. I'll read it for you. So, we took our cell token and we borrowed off of that. Now, our total interest that we're going to be paying for this is $8.77. That's all that this loan is costing me. The margin call, so this is when they're going to ask me for more money, is if cell token ever hits $2.99, which it still could. That's not like outside of what could happen. But at the same time, it most likely, I'm not completely worried about that. And my liquidation price is at $2.43. So if I drop down to $2.43, then they liquidate. Last dip that they had, I think Celsius in total liquidated maybe, I think they said like 14 people out of all of the people, and they hold like $10 billion worth of assets. So I feel pretty confident there. This is now my first loan with Celsius. It's now my first rodeo. I've probably taken maybe 3 loans with them. 4 loans, actually. I paid off 2, and I'm currently in 2 more. And I plan on continuing that. So it's basically how I think about it is I'm leveraging my assets to increase my bags. And eventually I'll use the same structure to do things like buy a home. I'll just borrow off my Bitcoin at a 1% interest rate, because you can't beat that, right? So that to me sounds like a much better option than anything else. But we're coming up to the hour, so we're going to talk for a little bit. If there's any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat there. But we'll go over the crypto market, go over some altcoins that we've discussed and that we like. Cardano being a big one. Actually, let's focus a little bit on Cardano. We made a video on Cardano, which is good, and I think Cardano is going to be a good token in the late game, especially what they're doing with Alonzo and everything else. Alonzo is finally coming out. And then once we have smart contracts, we have the ability to create more dApps for the Cardano ecosystem. It's going to be a pretty powerful ecosystem in general. I think Cardano is one of the safer plays that you can make, and you see that with Grayscale. Their number 3 holding now is Cardano. Now Grayscale, it's nothing new. Grayscale is always buying Grayscale and BlackRock basically are always buying ADA and other altcoins. But to be number 3 is a pretty big deal. To be number 3 is a pretty big deal. Now, with Cardano, we've done really well because we're holding at maybe $1.41, still below that $1.50 that we said that was our line of support that we eventually broke down, and that now it's holding as a line of resistance, right? So anytime we have a line of support, and just so you guys understand exactly how I'm drawing these support lines, I'm drawing them based on like where we've seen bounce backs before. I use wicks. A lot of people use candles, and that's fine. It is what it is. I don't think there's a right and wrong. So you see here that we did drop. Here we hit and dropped. Here we pumped and dropped. And then here we broke that $1.50 and went way up. And then Bitcoin drove us down. And then we fought with that $1.50 for a while, right? We kept on like flirting with it. Everything was really volatile, which is why you see everything super spiked at this point. And then we finally broke down below the $1.50. But if you look at where we are, we're not that far off of where we are, right? And that's the one thing about Cardano. Everyone complains about how Cardano just trades sideways. Cardano doesn't do anything. Well, it doesn't do anything because it's building up support. The more a crypto trades level, right, the more we have just sideways action, like something like this, the more sustainable this is going to be, right? So I see Cardano just trading level like this as building stability in the late game, and that's all it is. So people that get upset with Cardano, I don't know. I think people need to calm down a little bit. But I kind of get some people's frustration at least, but I think a lot of people in the space are just impatient. I think a lot of people are in cryptocurrency because they want to be rich tomorrow, or they want to be rich by the end of the year. That's not how this is going to work. This is going to be a long haul. You're going to go through some crap. It's going to be crappy. But if you really hold onto your tokens, you are going to do well. I can promise you that. Maybe not all the tokens that you hold, but most of them. At least the good projects, right? The KSMs of the world, the ETH, Bitcoin, Polkadot being at $15. I've been buying a little bit of Polkadot here and there, and I'm not going to stop. So Polkadot at $15, yes, please. You haven't seen this price since January, basically. So I'd absolutely be loading your bags up on like some good solid projects right now. Now you can see back before I was taking a little bit more speculative plays, but now I'm really focused on like the top end projects, BNB, that kind of stuff. Mainly because right now everything's so cheap that I want to focus more money into that, and then once everything's pumped a little bit, okay, then I can go into speculation a little bit more. But we'll go ahead and wrap it up here because it doesn't seem like there's any last minute questions or anything. Go ahead and give me a like, subscribe to the channel, really appreciate it. There's going to be a video coming out a little bit later today to talk about the market cycle, where we are and what we need to re-engage the market cycle. So it's going to discuss how this year, or this market cycle, bull market essentially, the bull part of the cycle, how different it looks compared to the other market peaks. So if we look at 2013, the double peak, and then we have 2017, the obvious blow off top, what's it going to look like now? And how do we continue, right? So that video is coming out a little bit later this afternoon, probably in the next hour or so. It's already edited. It's already uploaded. I just literally got to tag it up and it's there. But that's it for me, guys. I'm good to be back. Hopefully this is going to be more frequent, too, with the live streams. But obviously, I'm just kind of getting back in the groove of things, so just be a little bit patient. But we're going to get right back into it and start killing it. All right, everyone, take it easy and enjoy your Saturday.